In this week's Parsha, something incredibly monumental takes place. We arrive at Sinai. Very soon, the heavens are going to open up and God is going to speak. The arrival at Sinai was not necessarily something which everyone knew about, which means the stated objective of leaving Egypt was, on the one hand, to leave slavery, but on the other hand, to get to the land of Israel, the land that was promised. This step along the way in the introduction of law and being taught Torah is something perhaps which was unexpected. But the truth is, we should have expected it, because it was always part of the plan. There's a phrase which God uses when he speaks to Moshe right before the Ten Commandments. And he says he's going to make the people of Israel, the Jewish people, a nation of priests. Mamlechet Kohanim v'goy kadosh. A holy nation. A kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Now, if everyone is a priest and considered a priest, then who are they servicing? Which means there's something implicit over here which we need to pay attention to. And that is that the service as being a priest means that there are others. There were a couple of times that this already has been hinted at. When Moshe was spoken to by God after the burning bush, and God says, go speak to Paro and say that Israel's my firstborn. If Israel's their firstborn, that means that there are other children as well. And it means that we are taking responsibility for others. This point is not my point. This is something which I heard from my teacher, Rabbi Soloveitchik. He also independently added another episode which I think is connected to the exact same point. When Avraham was about to climb up the mountain with Yitzchak and to serve God in a way that no one has ever been asked to serve God before, it says that he travels with two others with him, according to the Midrash. One is Yishmael and the other is Eliezer. And Avram looks from afar and he sees the place. He turns to one and says, what do you see? And they say, a mountain. Turns to the other and says, what do you see? He says, a mountain. Turns to Yitzchak and asks, what do you see? And he says, a mountain covered by a cloud, which for us should be very reminiscent of Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai was a mountain covered by a cloud. Avraham and Yitzchak saw Mount Sinai. But what was it that Avraham did at that moment? He says to the others, you wait here, and I and the boy will go and serve God, and then come back. Rabbi Soloveitchik pointed out that there's a couple of elements. One is they need to separate, they need to climb the mountain. They need to go to what now we understand as being a Har Sinai type of experience. But they also need to come back down. That part of the responsibility is to teach the rest of the world. When Avram is chosen, we can flip the question around. Why is it that we are considered the chosen people? When Avram is chosen, the Torah actually says why God has chosen him. And this is right before he tells Avram about what's going to take place in the city of stone. It says, because I know Avraham. He's the one who's going to teach his children tzedakah u'mishpat. Acts of kindness, charitable acts, and justice. This is a difficult combination. To be able to combine together justice in the world, but on the other hand to be charitable, that's difficult. Because those two things can be said to contradict one another. Our experience in Egypt was meant to teach us how to be charitable. We were downtrodden. We were disenfranchised. Part of the Jewish psyche should have been, from that moment on, and reinforced every Passover, we know what it was like to be slaves. And therefore, we must be charitable to others. On the other hand, when we get to Mount Sinai, we're going to be given law. And law and charity do not have to be concepts which are contradictory. We need to be a people that can do both. But not only need we be a people that can do both, we need to be a people that will understand we have a responsibility of teaching to the rest of the world both of these concepts, tzedakah u'mishpat, to be charitable and to be kind. Why? Because we're a kingdom of priests. Why? Because we're the firstborn. And as we saw, implicit in both of these terms is that there are others who perhaps didn't go through the Egyptian experience, and others who didn't stand at Mount Sinai. We have to remember that the entire world needs to be transformed and come to the understanding that the world needs to be a place of tzedakah and mishpat.